It's a statement leading European football clubs announce new Super League competition. It says 12 of Europe's leading football clubs have today come together to announce they have agreed to establish a new midweek competition, the Super League, governed by its founding clubs.
The bottom line is that for the first time in history, UEFA is proposing that qualification for the Champions League, the elite club competition in Europe, will be not based on how you've done in the previous season domestically, but based on how you've done historically.
It's a disgrace, an absolute disgrace of the highest order.
By this time last year, the football world was hit by the potential of a Leviathan coming to gnaw away at the joy which fans get from the sport. The European Super League wasn't just a threat. It was so close to becoming a reality in the second quarter of 2021. Most of the big clubs in Europe were broke, reeling from the huge loss they had suffered as a result of the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. So, 12 of them from 3 different leagues came together to create this monster. Barcelona, Manchester City, AC Milan, Real Madrid, Chelsea, Manchester United, Arsenal, Tottenham Hotspur, Inter Milan, Liverpool, Atletico Madrid, and Juventus. These were the 12 founding members of the European Super League. Clubs like PSG, Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, and Porto were also approached to join at the ground floor, but they all refused. Perhaps they saw the Super League for the destructive monster that it actually was. The league was only going to benefit the owners of the clubs.
Porque está en un momento de riesgo, de verdad.
Not the fans, not even the footballers themselves. Mesut Ozil, Ander Herrera, Patrick Bamford, Dejan Lovren, Cesc Fabregas, and many more footballers were all really vocal for their disdain for the idea of the Super League. Even players employed by these Super League clubs like Kevin De Bruyne, Jordan Henderson, Bruno Fernandes, James Milner expressed their disappointment at their club's participation. The general complaint was that the European Super League was here to destroy football as we know it. For the players, the European Super League didn't care about them. These guys were about to force yet another tournament on players who were already playing in about 4 different club tournaments every season. That is aside from the international breaks every month and international tournaments every year. Basically, the club owners see them as just puppets, tools with which to earn more money for themselves. The players hardly get rest as it is, and these Super League masterminds didn't care about making their schedules even worse, provided they were making money from it. For the fans, the Super League was aimed at destroying the entire essence of what the beautiful game is. For example, in the Super League, you would never get to see something as beautiful as what we saw in the UEFA Champions League quarterfinals this year.
That's a decent ball. Gerard Moreno, Chukwueze scores!
Villarreal knocking out the great Bayern Munich? Who would have even thought that was possible? And yes, Bayern were not part of the Super League founding members, but you get the point, don't you? If a number of big clubs successfully broke away and formed their own exclusive league, where then is the fun? Smaller clubs get absolutely no chance to compete or make a name for themselves. They can't get into the league, so there will be no shockers as we have seen over the years in the UEFA Champions League, Europa League, and other domestic leagues. That, for sure, is not the essence of the beautiful game. Chelsea, for example, were not exactly a big club prior to the early 2000s. Let's not even talk about Manchester City. But now, they are undoubtedly big clubs because there was nothing like a Super League to deny them the chance of working their way to the very top of the European game. Basically, the fans weren't happy about this new development, and they made sure their voices were heard in the stadiums, on the streets, and on social media. Pundits joined the protest too, most notably Gary Neville, who once played for Manchester United. He insisted that the breakaway teams from England should be punished. He suggested that points be deducted from the teams for what he termed a criminal act against football fans in the country, and UEFA were keen on punishing them too. Alexander Ceferin, president of UEFA, threatened that players whose clubs were involved in the Super League would not be allowed to participate in the Euros and World Cup tournaments. That was a big threat on its own, but it was the sound of the supporters collectively threatening to denounce their clubs if they went on with the Super League's plans that rang the loudest, and apparently shook the clubs the most. And to show you just how important the fans are to this beautiful game we all love, all that pressure yielded quick results. Following protests from fans and pressure from the UK government, Chelsea and Manchester City announced that they would be pulling out of the European Super League. And this was just a matter of hours after the original announcement from the Super League was put out. In the next few days, the other 4 English clubs, Arsenal, Spurs, Man United, and Liverpool, also announced that they would be dropping out of the whole Super League thing. So the founding members were cut in half in just a matter of days. Inter Milan, Atletico Madrid, and AC Milan would also go on to withdraw from the league, leaving just Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Juventus. Thanks to the pressure from fans, in just 3 days, the entire ship sank, and the remaining clubs announced that they would be suspending operations of the Super League. But with how widely antagonized the mere idea of the league was by the press, fans, players, and even the government, why did club owners and presidents ever want to venture into this in the first place? Well, the simple answer is money. To be fair, like we said earlier, the club's finances had just taken a big hit as a result of the global pandemic. Some were broke, many were in debt. They needed a way out, a quick solution. So, when they were approached with this cash cow idea, they just latched onto it without much thought. And perhaps at some point, the desperation to get out of an economically difficult situation turned to greed. JP Morgan had already agreed to invest $4.2 billion in the Super League. And of course, there was an opening for more sponsors to come in and invest in what they expected would become the most watched football league on the globe. All that meant that each participant was going to be able to earn up to $400 million every year. Of course, the club owners and presidents saw green. At that point, they weren't thinking of how it would physically affect the players, who were going to have about 50% more matches to play than they already do. They didn't put thought into how the exclusive club they were trying to build was going to taint the beauty of the sport, how it was going to kill the ability of the fans to dream, how it was going to take eyes completely off the other clubs and plunge them into a much worse financial state than they were ever before, how it was going to deny smaller clubs the joys of being able to challenge the bigger clubs for a seat at the table of the elite. In this format, the founding members could continue to fail year in, year out, and would still remain in the league earning the insane amounts they had originally agreed to. No relegation, no struggle to qualify for a spot in the league. Nothing, just a forever guaranteed spot in what would have been the biggest club competition in the world. Preposterous. But then, these guys were not even the originators of the idea. It would appear that the idea of a European Super League had existed since the 60s. It was only revived and nearly brought to life last year by Florentino Perez and Andrea Agnelli, president of Real Madrid and chairman of Juventus respectively. But the plan they came up with was poorly planned out, and it didn't seem like it was given much deliberation. No wonder it fell apart so quickly. Keep your eyes open though. The European Super League may currently be sleeping, but it's not dead at all. In October 2021, the remaining 3 clubs left in the Super League put forward a proposal of a refurbishment to their original idea. They proposed more clubs involved, more freedom of movement, and much higher stakes. The original idea was to have 20 teams in one league compete every season for the European Super League trophy. The refurbished idea suggested an open league which will involve 40 European clubs in the league shared equally into 2 divisions. You can say they listened to the complaints and are using the feedback to make adjustments to their idea. So don't be surprised if they are back with a better thought out plan that clubs and fans will not be able to say no to. Anyway, the UEFA Champions League having already announced that it would be replacing the group stage as we know it with a 36-team league format, it would appear UEFA is already borrowing from the monster it was so scared of. So, could it be that this is truly the future of football, and we are just delaying the inevitable? Or do you think the European Super League has been nipped in the bud for good? Let us know your sincere thoughts in the comments. Even if you're on the side of the Super League, don't be scared to air your thoughts. This is a safe space. While you leave your comments though, don't forget to also leave a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel too and turn on the notification bell. See you in the next one. Peace out.